Midway through the season and just 6 points separate top from 7th place on the ladder. Glenelg is pushing hard for a return to finals football after comfortably accounting for Westies last Monday. The Tigers sit 6th, kept out of the top 5 by Port Sterling come-from-behind effort in beating 2nd place South. The Magpies trailed until deep in time on. Reigning Premier Central District is on the outer edge. The 7th place Dogs regained a fair bit of their reputation, though, by overcoming Sturt at the Ponderosa. The Double Blues have plenty to think about. Although they're sitting in 4th spot, they're hardly comfortable. And this afternoon, they'll come out in front of their home crowd to face the league-leading Eagles, who are coming off a bye. From the Unley Oval, it's the round 12 match of the day. Sturt versus the Eagles.
And the Eagles have won their past 7 matches against Sturt, so you wouldn't have thought that there'd be too many concerns about facing the Double Blues this afternoon, who conceded their biggest score of the season against the Eagles in a round 3 loss. And Sturt has kicked its lowest score, or is coming off kicking its lowest score against Centrals last week in round 11. Hello everyone, welcome to the Unley Oval. Traditional conditions. Andrew Rogers is with me this afternoon. Should be a great battle in very difficult conditions.
Yeah, certainly the conditions will be trying, but look, Eagles coming off a bye, just don't know how they're going to react, and Sturt just need to change their game plan. They tend to rely heavily on handball and run from behind. Conditions aren't very conducive to that today, so Brenton Phillips is going to need plan B.
Well, as we look through last week's results, an intriguing round. North Adelaide's biggest win of 2005. Central trailed until a 16-minute mark of the final quarter. We'll have some highlights of Port against South at quarter time, and at 3/4 time we'll have some highlights from the Glenelg West match, and that was also Glenelg's biggest win of the season. And of course, as Andrew mentioned, the Eagles coming off a bye, they sit pretty at the top of the table, and Sturt down there in 4th position. And really, well, they did struggle to overcome Centrals last week in the second half after seemingly setting up the game in the first half. Quick look through the leading goal kickers this season. Ben Warren leading the way. David Mitchell will be very interesting to watch some of the highlights of David Mitchell. Fantastic kick for the Bays, and we'll, as I said, see some highlights of that match, Glenelg versus Westies, a little later. This afternoon, a full round of SANFL football on a wet and windy afternoon. Sturt versus the Eagles, that's our match, of course. Port against Glenelg. Very interesting contest, that one. The battle really for 5th place. Westies against Norwood, 2 clubs very much looking for a win. And South against Central, another enthralling battle down there at Noarlunga. Well, as usual, Mark Soderstrom joins us on the boundary, and so does the Double Blues have really got a task this afternoon.
Well, they certainly have. Good afternoon, everyone. And we've spoken about the conditions. They are tough. We will get to those in a minute. There is a late change for the Double Blues. Toby Thurstons is out with a lower leg problem, so Jake Bowen should get the job at centre-half forward as his replacement. And their midfield is boosted by the return of Thompson, Eckerman and Squire, so that should be important in these conditions. And it was a disappointing result for them last week, so Coach Brenton Phillips just tried to work out where things went wrong.
Look, we addressed the fact that we didn't have a 4-quarter effort, and that's what we're looking today. We're looking to have a 4-quarter effort and share the workload around the whole group.
Wet, cold and windy today. How does the game plan change?
Basically, you kick it long, I think. Today, you don't want to be touching the ball too often. We want to be getting it long. We've got a few marking options or taller blokes up forward that give us a contest, and we get some crumbs off them, hopefully.
Well, since he took the reins at Sturt in 2002, 4 wins, 8 losses against the Eagles. But that lineup, look, it's very experienced.
It certainly is very experienced. Just wonder about the tall targets up forward and the value of what they're going to be today. So just feel as though they're going to be wasted. It's going to come down to some small crumbing forwards in what is not going to be a very high-scoring game.
And so does the Eagles have plenty of crumbing forwards.
Well, they certainly do, and they are looking good, sitting pretty at the top of the table. Unfortunately for them, Trent Henschel has been promoted to the Crows, so Tom Wigley will get his opportunity in this great side at the moment. And last week, well, the Eagles, they enjoyed the bye.
We just had a light week this week, Mark. The previous bye, which was only a couple of weeks ago, we worked pretty hard, so we thought this week was a chance to get over some little niggly bits.
Now, your side is the most efficient side regarding scoring shots to possessions. Does that help you adapt to today's conditions?
I think that's the way we like to play anyway, so I think it is more suitable on days like today, yeah.
Yes, days like today. Well, that's a very good lineup. There's no doubt about that. And with a record of 7 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, I think he touched on a very good point there. The conditions certainly will suit the Eagles in their game plan.
Just have a look now at the coin toss with Ben Nelson on the left there for Sturt and Justin Cicolella. You can barely recognise him in the rain jacket there. Ben Nelson winning the toss, kicking to the right of screen. And if we remember last year in this corresponding match in round 12, similar conditions, but the ground had experienced a lot more rain earlier, and as a result, very chopped up. It was a mud bath.
Yes, it certainly was. Last year, you can see the players on screen. They're just covered in mud. Certainly the ground is in better conditions this year, so I wouldn't expect a game like this. It's going to be hard and tough in tight. Once again, I think that may well be to the Eagles' advantage.
As we look across the ground now, and plenty of rain, and you may have noticed that when Sodas was talking. You're enjoying that time on the boundary, Sodas. Tell us, what's the weather got for you this afternoon?
We are expecting a top of 16 degrees. Whether it gets there or not, who knows, and who cares really, because it's just going to rain all day. As you boys mentioned, the ground has held up beautifully, so there's no problems there. It's cold, it's wet, and this is just going to be great winter football.
Maybe not great for Sodas on the boundary. Gavin Colville, the captain of Woodville West Torrens. You would have heard me say that Justin Cicolella was doing the honours this afternoon. Colville coming back from osteitis pubis, playing in the reserves, along with Daniel Pearce, number 44 there for Sturt, who played last week in the league side, and that man there, Michael Curtis.
Yeah, look, that's great coaching by the Sturt reserves coach, just to put Daniel Pearce on Gavin Colville, let him go to school on Gavin Colville. He's a very experienced player, being one of the top players in the SANFL for a long period of time. Daniel Pearce can certainly get educated by Gavin Colville today.
Now, remembering you've played, what, 262 games with the Eagles, or with the Eagles and Woodville and then in the AFL, but where are your allegiances this afternoon in terms of tipping?
In terms of tipping, I think very early on I was actually keen on Sturt when the conditions were dry, because I really thought they would stretch the Eagles' defence. You've only got Stephen Hall and really Joe Pedler down there to handle the 3 talls. Just felt as though Sturt, if they could break even in the midfield and Feast could give them a look at it, I thought they were a real chance today. Just the conditions, I think under pressure they will revert back to their normal game plan of handball, fraught with danger in these conditions, and I think Eagles being very efficient should get over the line.
So does Simon Feast going to the boundary, is that right, and on the fence to start with?
Yeah, he will start on the pine, so Chris Oliver will be in the ruck, Jake Bowen the centre half forward, and joining Feasty on the bench is Benny Eckerman, who did hurt his neck a little while ago. He's back, and also Michael Bratton.
Thanks for that, Sodas. We're just about ready for a start on a cold, wet and windy afternoon in Adelaide. Here's Michael Maney.
It's reminding me of my days of back home in Tasmania. It's a lovely, balmy day in Tasmania when you consider what it is here today. Looking forward to this game. Probably one of the best games of the season, you would imagine. Umpires will have it. Difficult task this afternoon. There's Justin Cicolella. Both teams have no one in the top 15 for marks and kicks. They really do share it around. There's Matthew Cooper just starting to run into some form and fitness. We know how good he is. It'll be an ideal day for the mud runners and the little players today, but the big fellas have to get it down. Round 12 underway. No one can get a decisive knock away. We'll have another ball up in the centre of Only Oval. A couple of matchups. Robert Fiacci's taken Adam Clun. Joe Pedler has got Jacob Bowen. No one can get the centre clearance. A lot of players around the football. Squirts out Watts to Floriani, so the Eagles will go inside 50 for the first time in the game. At the back, as he does so well, Beveridge. Just kicks it long. Good Mark Smith. It's been in particularly good form, Matthew Smith. A short kick. Spots up Thompson, who goes away to Cooper. He's about to get caught. Just uses Sheedy. We'll see more long kicking game, you'd think, from Sturt in this game. McKenzie at the back for the Eagles. Has to kick it around the body. It's effective to Cicolella at half back. Conditions very trying at the moment for the players. A lot of rain still falling. Cicolella goes into the centre to Wigley. Luke Powell. Just a scramble at the moment. We'll see plenty of this. Ball is locked up, and Andrew Rogers will see a few ball ups this afternoon, and you'll earn your money today, I think.
Yeah, he certainly will. Interesting that Joe Pedler has actually gone to corner Jacob Bowen and not Chambers. He's had a good record on Chambers in previous years.
Smith with the punch for Sturt, and now Wicks through traffic and just prepared to belt it long inside the forward line. McKenzie led his man to the ball. Quick kick away, and that's the problem. Virtually every kick under pressure is not going to find a target. That was good from Trevey. Down to centre-half forward. Watts was held. Umpire called play on. Passador striding out, kicks it down towards the goal face. On the ground, Chaplin just knocks it aside. Beveridge looked to be taken high. Umpire said he ducked. Simmons now over the ball for the Eagles. Gets it away to Knights. First goal of the afternoon to the Eagles.
And there's the problem for the Double Blues. You can see instinctively there under pressure that Andrew Beveridge really wanted to handball. There was his first instinct. You can just see there just prior to that. That was his first instinct, was to handball. So it's very hard to change the mindset of the Sturt Double Blues players today. And Chris Knights, who has been impressive this year since making his debut, finishes off relatively an easy goal on his left foot. Goals are going to come a premium. As the ground gets heavier and the ball gets heavier, goals are going to become harder to get.
We've seen him kick a few of those across the body. Chris Knights in some good form. Shark by Stokes. Kick just knocked off it. In goes Inkster. Just in the long sleeves today, Tim Inkster. Lindsay virtually handed it to Whiteman. No 15. You heard the call from the umpire. Cole Reevy in the white boots. How long will they remain white in the mud this afternoon? And let's go to the Sturt bench, Mark Soderstrom.
Yeah, Simon Feast is starting down there. He'll come on and do some ruck work later on. Ben Eckerman and also Michael Bratton.
First early goal to the Eagles. Sikalella got it to Trevey. In front, Thompson couldn't take the mark. The two young Tyros Knights there. Ball funneled at the back to Oliver, who got it to Smith. So the in-close handballing okay for the Double Blues as Sheedy burst clear. His target's Coe. Just covers that player. Clun can't keep on the feet. Whiteman, that's terrific play. Ran into the brick wall, which was Robert Fiacci. Beveridge just threw himself forward. In goes Coe, taken by Wicks, who wanted to give it off. Coe just kicked it high. Big pack of players, kicked off the ground by Nelson into the pockets. And it will be thrown in. The skills of the game will not be precision today, Andrew Rogers. Just get it, move it forward. Mark, you've got the Eagles bench.
David Westbrook, Vinnie Regolo and also ruckman Brett O'Hara are sitting down, hiding away from the rain.
We'll get a shot of sodas later and see who's hiding from the rain. One, no clear disposal there. Nice intercept by Bowen, and now diving on the ball and pulled off it was Weatherall. It's finally come to Stokes, belts it on the boot. The lights are on it, Unley. I don't know if the lights here are quite as effective as, say, I don't know, Footy Park or just about any other ground. Thompson with the ball for Sturt. Drives it in long. McKenzie over the back. Ball comes to ground. Nicely rode by Clunt. He's got a player loose in the goal square. That was Bowen, but it didn't get that far. Body over the ball going in there. Big Lindsay with the free kick. The big man beats the little man in the wet. You won't see that often, you would think. Sikalella, far side of the ground. Freebie, nice pick up under pressure, though. Just socketed outside of that defensive circle. Powell got pushed in the back. Umpire said play on. Still a crowd in. Here's Sheedy using pace. Now around on the right foot, goes to the pocket, the only place he really could go under pressure, and it's out of bounds in front of that mini scoreboard. There is one there, I promise you. And it reads 1 goal to the Eagles and nothing to Sturt.
And of course the central corridor becomes very important now. The more times you go to the pocket, it's going to be very hard to score from this pocket today. Must use the central corridor as you go forward.
Bowen does the ruck work for the Double Blues, but Lindsay knocked it out. Sheedy just got it in, hooked it around the body. Colreevy couldn't take the mark. Robert Fiacci kicks it very high. Pedler's got to sit and wait and can't hold the mark. Ball very slippery and won't take very long to be heavy. Surprised with the decision of Brett Phillips to go a tall, replace Thurstons with another tall and not go a small.
Yeah, absolutely. With Michael Curtis playing in the twos, I would have thought that would have been a more logical option given the conditions.
Daniel Pearce played particularly well here last year in the mud and slush. He played well. Passador ran out of space. Good enough to get the handball back to Robert Fiacci, whose kick across the body finds Knights, who thought about playing on for a split second. Wicks was there. Knights' kick was touched off the boot. Pedler took it and got it to Powell. Powell kicks it looking for Watts. Watts got in front, but Smith with a good punch Well done by the Eagles. That was Treby who got it to Sikalala, and the mark's been taken by King. King will give you everything. He will present. Thought about it for a moment to go to Watts in the square. But Watts, the kick needs to be precision, and on a day like this, you really couldn't trust it. But King from 35 should measure the kick well.
Yes, getting into whatever breeze there is also. Look, it's a difficult kick. The Eagles are certainly very efficient. They've only gone inside 50 for the third time. Already with 1 goal. Sturt inside 6. No reward as yet.
King. Not a bad looking kick. He snuck it in for a goal. Lovely kick by Josh King. Well, we saw him a few weeks ago down at Alberton playing against Korea-Chi. Continued to present, and then all of a sudden things started to go right for him. That's not a bad result. Yeah, with his body strength today, he will become important. You can see there, just Chaplin lost him in play. You can see he's a good 3 or 4 metres behind him. Justin Sigley, just with footy smarts, just and able to get out in front. And importantly for the Eagles, King finishes with a goal. As I said, goals are going to become a premium today. The Eagles with 2 on the board early.
And they met here in similar conditions last season. Only 12 goals for the afternoon. Whiteman out of the centre for the double Blues. Boy, did that carry in the breeze. Chambers over the ball. It's socket away. Bowen got a hand in there. Cooper pulled an opponent to ground. Umpire said play on, and then it was socket through for the minor score.
Just an early win here for Brenton Phillips with playing Michael Code up forward. Mark McKenzie, who is a general in the Eagles midfield, has been forced to pick Michael Code up in the back pocket, so it just detracts from the Eagles midfield.
Adam Clun using the soccer skills there, just about got it in. Taken by Wicks. Wicks inside 50, draws it back. Double Blues get their first of the afternoon. Magnificent interception by Danny Wicks. We've seen him go forward. We've seen him play back. He is an important player. He'll carry the ball on a day like this.
And just really good play by Ben Corey. He just pushes back, just gets a hand on it. Just to deflect it away from his Eagles opponent. So great courage. And Daniel Wicks, who was used out of the back pocket last week to generate some drive from the back line, finishes off nicely. Sturt get a well-deserved goal to bring him back into this contest.
Daniel Wicks, plenty of pace, making his way into the centre square now, and it's all wrapped up, and we'll get that secondary ball up. You won't see too much bouncing, I would have thought, today. You do have the choice as an SANFL umpire of throwing the ball up. Oliver got the tap for a Sturt, but it's quickly sandwiched in there, and now we go to the tertiary bounce.
Chris Oliver is important today too, because Lindsay will try to push him around, and he's had a lot of influence on the game. Oliver must be competitive in the middle.
Lindsay with a toe poke. It went about 5 metres. They crowd around again, and still the ball in close. A lot of players around the ball. Eventually slapped out. Nelson couldn't get the kick away. He's a strong boy, but not strong enough with somebody on his back. Now it's socket wide, and Colreevy with a chance to pick it up. Overran it, was taken high. Umpire said yes. That's a free kick. So Colreevy takes his time. Smith runs forward. Goes for Bowen. No, he doesn't. Goes to the middle of the ground. Off the inside of his boot, I think. Simmons pulled it down in front to Treby. He wants his left foot. He's on his left foot, and he goes long. Stokes is under it. Will take the mark. Stokes can centre up to Simmons, but he decides he'll wait. Sturt with plenty of players behind the ball, forcing the short pass to Passador. Passador played on according to the umpire. Begley comes. Passador kicks up into the hot spots. 20, 30 metres out from goals. Well rode. The Eagles around a Treby off the left foot. Colreevy dives in, takes the ball. Thompson with the toe poke wide. Weatherall still over the ball. Weatherall off to Nelson. Taken down by Treby. Still play on. Squire missed last week with a back injury. May regret playing today. Who knows? And finally off the outside of Bowen's boot, the big fella just gets it across the line. Mark McKenzie jogging back into defence for the Eagles.
Just Mark Passador, look, move the ball on quickly, get it to the top of the square, put some real pressure on the Sturt defence. It's a very dangerous spot considering the conditions.
No one can take clear possession. Big pack of players around the football. We'll see plenty of this afternoon, that is for sure.
Let's just hope the umpires don't try to ping players for diving on the footy today. It's really a trying conditions. Very hard to be clean in the contest. Just let's let it roll.
Simmons just got his boot on it. Thompson. The kick was half distance. Well done, Sheedy. Got away to Oliver. Oliver pumps it long. Mackenzie's there. It's been a good call so far to run Mackenzie back there by Ron Fuller. Had a few touches. Kicks to the wing. A lovely kick finds Knights. The Eagles wearing their yellow strip this afternoon. The alternative strip. Knights, that's a good kick to Watts, who finally got away from Smith. Smith has played him pretty closely so far in the contest. It's a lovely kick by Watts to centre it up to the hot spot. Lindsay couldn't take it. Well done by Beveridge for Sturt. To Thompson, away to Sheedy. So the double blues from half-back. Umpire said he hasn't played on. This is Ben Nelson, the skipper, wearing the number 11. Kicks to a big pack. Code. Pedler knocked it away for the Eagles. Cooper shrugged a tackle to Sheedy, to Weatherall. Weatherall inside 50. A couple of players couldn't take it. There's Hall. He's playing in front. Good work by Wigley to kick it to the wing. Foot race between Passador and Begley. And Passador, who had a couple of yards on Begley, just sees it out of bounds. There's Mark Passador. Life will be tough for the high-marking, strong-marking forwards this afternoon.
Certainly will. Look, Begley's a really good matchup for Passador. Very mobile, good overhead, similar to James Begley. Looking forward to that clash.
Whiteman, fortuitous bounce, but it's going to happen a lot this afternoon. Second man in will often get the ball as it slips wide. Weatherall to Wicks. Can he kick his second? Straightens up from the pocket. Nice shot! Goal!
Importantly for the double blues early is that Sheedy's had plenty of the footy, but also Tim Weatherall, who's a little tough nut inside. We're just going to look at the replay. There's the handball, and then we just see the shepherd. You can just miss it out of screen. He's able to shepherd Todd Wigley off, allowing Wicks time to straighten his body and kick a goal. So it's been great. It's been a great start to the game for both clubs. We saw the Eagles jump out of the blocks. Sturt have responded.
We saw the double blues. There's Jacob Bowen off. A little bit of blood to the left eye by the looks of things. Just have a look at him. The double blues were out of the blocks last week. Michael Code was the multiple goal kicker. This week, it's Daniel Wicks.
And it gives you an idea of the conditions. Interesting there, you take Jacob Bowen off the tall, put Simon Feast on, patch the ball with a small, just to create a mismatch, make Ron Fuller think about moving Joe Pedler away.
Not too many big marks will be had this afternoon. There's Wicks, the man of the moment. Wigley ridden into the ground, no free kick. Well done, Cole Reevy. Got it to Wicks. In goes Feast to Cole Reevy, who was already nabbed, and they dive on the football. And umpire Cowell, I think it is, will say, give it to me.
Michael, Jake Bowen has just snuck down into the change rooms. No problems really at all. Just a bit of a cut under the eye. He'll have that patched up and we'll be back soon.
Thanks, Mark. In goes Hall. Tries to crash through a couple. How did he get rid of that? Taken by Peter Fiacci. One of two Fiacci's off the half-back line. Kick the turnover. Goes to Cooper. Weatherall went one hand, couldn't hook it in. Recovery skills okay. Cooper's dangerous in this situation. He kicks it to a big pack. Chambers can't take the mark. Lovely work. Cicalella got it away to Floriani. So the Eagles out of trouble momentarily. Not for long. Here comes Feast. Feaster's jinky little kick looking for Weatherall. Can't take the mark. Whiteman, looked like a throw. Taken by Cooper. Tried to lay it off to Oliver. In goes Knights, I think it was at Treby, who looked like he was taken high, but the umpires will cut a bit of slack this afternoon. Let's hope they do. And the ball up.
Yes, you would think so. There's Lee Treby. Look, that's a genuine tackle. Perhaps the left arm was over the shoulder. Probably good umpiring there.
Good work, Andrew Rogers, working under extreme conditions up in the commentary area. Here's Knights, who got it from Powell. Knights kicks down the wing. Watts in front, but read beautifully by Matthew Smith.
Smith now taking his time. Remembering Sturt kicking with a strong breeze to the right of screen. Goes to centre half forward. That'll slip over the back to Lindsay. Nicely taken. Knocked away. Lindsay appeals to the umpire. He doesn't get much, the big fella. Hand pass off the Cicalella down to Watts. Nice take. Watts out in front of Smith. Smith will test him with his run. Watts will test with his height. Gets it off. Fiacci inside 50 with the kick. Three Sturt players go to the ball. That leaves the ground open. And a dinky little kick going in there from Stokes didn't quite work. And Beveridge perhaps got 50 Knights. Looked to have run across the mark there for a moment. Goes to the far side of the ground. Inkster, we haven't seen much of him this afternoon. Here's his first touch, I think, and he won't get an actual stat for it. Umpire will come in here, and Mogridge will hopefully back me up on that.
Sorry, Neil, he's had one handball.
must have been a really quick one. Players around the ball again, and Kwan just hand pass into the open and actually aided Powell. The kick slides through, and it won't go all the way. It'll be just ushered through for the minor score by Beveridge going back there. The former Eagle kicks a point for his former club.
You would think Ron Fuller would be relatively happy with his start. As you said, the double blues kicking with a breeze. Certainly the ball carrying further to the right of screen. The Eagles can just hold on for another 10 minutes. They've certainly got away to a good start.
Nice kick out from fullback. Sheedy tracks it. Wonderful little give to Smith. Smith goes down the line. There's Matthew Stokes coming off for a spell, Sotis.
Yes, he is. Vinnie Rugolo, who often comes in towards the end of the quarter and just gets a goal. Ronnie will be hoping for that again.
Matthew Stokes on the phone.
And I reckon that would be about the cute little kick he tried there at half forward. Instead of pushing pressure on the goal square, just tried to be a little bit too cute.
O'Hara in ruck. Rugolo immediately into the action. Fly will ball it up. Chilly day here at Unley. The rain stopped for the moment. Cooper, Whiteman, lovely smother Rugolo, so he's had an impact straight away. Taken by Sikalella. Kicks it long. Passador couldn't quite hold on. King will give 1, 2 and 3 efforts. Passador also. Watts boxed it out to Sikalella. How's he on his left? The smother was terrific by Squire, who boots it off the ground. And the Sturt faithful stand and applaud Damien Squire. They missed him last week, and his experience much needed in this double blues lineup.
Just an interesting role there for Damien Squire on Tim Inkster at half-back, just to generate some run out of there. He's going to have to be very aware of Tim Inkster being a real sharpshooter around goals.
Double blues taken away. Thompson got it to Cooper. Cooper pumps it long. Double blues kicking with a good breeze. Cole Reevy, that's a beautiful mark. Well, someone must tell the umpire it's a wet day. The free kick's been paid against the Eagles for a throw.
There's the evener upper of Michael. He missed the mark, and Damien Joyce gives him the free for the throw.
Don't know if it was a mark, but that was a poor kick inside 50. Hall with the intercept. Had the back Knights going wide, using every bit of what is a pretty small ground, the Unley Oval. Wigley with the mark for the Eagles. Passador leads up. He waits. Watts comes now, and he goes in the direction of Fergus. Ball to ground, and eventually Rugolo will just accidentally knock it across the line, just in front of the interchange area there. Somewhere huddled there is Sodas at quarter time. We'll have some highlights of the Port Adelaide victory over South Adelaide last weekend. They trailed until the 26.5-minute mark of the final quarter. Port Adelaide before getting up. That is still play on. Now Knights, good pace. Away he skirts. Drives it up into the forward line. Chaplin waited. Squire didn't. Took it brilliantly. Beautiful work by Squire. Kicks it out to the far side of the Unley Oval. The chase is on. It's Nelson against Treby, who's gone. Nelson had him. Took the ball off him. Looked to have been taken by the ankle. Umpire still called play on. The Eagles get it away. Squire comes and misses the soccer kick. As a result, the Eagles are in. Away they go. Inkster over the top. Sikalella in space. If he can pick it up, he can have a shot at goal. Eventually he does. He makes it look so hard and then so easy.
The Eagles are certainly making the most of their opportunities as they go forward. We've seen the double blues really dominate the contest so far and work inside their 50s. And the Eagles just been a little bit cleaner. Just a good give by Fergus Watts on the up. Tim Inkster, just a bit of awareness. And Justin Siegler, just as he's poised, didn't panic under pressure, turned the ball around the corner, finishes off nicely. And as I said, the Eagles kicking into this breeze, way to a very nice start.
8th kick to Justin Sigalella. Both he and Jay Sheedy have had 10 possessions.
Two players right in the midfield. Real motors for their side. Feast just pushes off O'Hara. Knocked it down. No one can take clear possession. Taken by Knights. Another possession for him. He's been terrific so far. Beveridge. They work it out the back to Wicks. Squire. Got a call from Chaplin. Chaplin's kick to the wing over Thompson's head. Oh, Code, beautiful give. Back to Thompson. Thompson goes for an open goal square and misses everything. Had it all in front of him, Thompson, and And a poor kick. You need to make better of that. They had plenty on offer there.
Michael, Jake Bowen, who had a cut in his eye earlier in the quarter, he's been patched up. He's returned to the fray and will be back to do a little bit of ruck work in the forward line.
Oliver the man to come off as Josh King takes a spell. Matthew Stokes, after copying a few words from Ron Fuller's, back on. Floriani. Bowen was lurking. Good tackle by Cooper. Takes Floriani to ground. And he's pinged. Ping.
Well, he couldn't. It was a perfect tackle. He had an arm pin.
Well, there you go. There's the explanation, Andrew. No need for you to make comment about that. Did you agree?
I'm always for the advocate for you've got to give the bloke an opportunity to get rid of the footy properly, and he's got his right arm pinned there, as you can see. Look, it's holding the ball to the letter of the law, but I always ask the question, did he have an opportunity?
So you didn't agree?
I'd like to promote the players to go for the ball.
And is there a God? I think,
well, there is. There is.
Later stages of this quarter, we're in the time-on period of the opening term. Floriani drives it up high. Cicolella clever at the front. Trevi just forced the ball forward. Now Watts. Passador on the lead. And 1-2 grabs. It went out of bounds. Umpire said that was a fair challenge coming late from Chaplin.
He should have really swallowed this, Mark Passador. Just really misread that, should have taken it on his chest. Chaplin just letting him lead to the footy a little bit too easily.
Oh, too much pace. Away goes Inkster. Goal coming up. You would think he's butchered it. He has. I know it's not easy, and it's a lot easier from up here, but you'd think on a day like today, that would have been a valuable goal and one he should have kicked.
Especially deep into time on, those type of goals just give you some impetus as you go into quarter time. That's the problem for Brenton Phillips with Damien Squire, not a natural defender.
Inkster got the staggers up there as Cicolella claimed he copped one, but he's got the football. 24 minutes gone. Eagles by one straight kick. And kicking against a slight breeze at Unley Oval. Sturt's home ground. Kick by Cicolella. Up goes Watts. Couldn't quite hold on. And another pack. Fergus Watts is presenting pretty well. That's going to be a good duel. Smith and Watts before the end of the day is finished.
And we certainly saw him down in the Alberton earlier in the year. When he gets confidence, Fergus Watts, he's a hard man to stop. So it's important that Smith's able to get back on top of him.
Another man who's hard to stop when he gets going is Jade Sheedy. Just a little toe poke. Boundary throw in. Close to 25 minutes gone. Goals in red time. Important. There's the crowd all rugged up on a wet, cold day at Unley. Ball's out the back to Trevi. Just kicks it very high. Passador. Well done, Beveridge, third man in that contest. Tried to knock it to the line. Peter Fiacci's left footer. Well done, Wetherill. Just knocked it out of bounds. It wasn't delivered. It had nowhere to go. Good interception. Good experience by Tim Wetherill.
And you can just see, once again, there you can see the pressure. If you put it to the top of the square, the pressure it puts on the third defence. So I just like to see both teams really get it to that hot spot.
Ball trapped in there. Still trapped. Feast. Shuffled it forward for Sturt. Stokes over it. Nice hand pass. Inkster off the right foot. Over the top. Just couldn't be taken. And it's out of bounds. It's Peter Fiacci stretching back. Just unable to take it. 2 years ago, best and fairest in the reserves for the Eagles. Big improver this season.
Just a couple of opportunities go begging for the Eagles late in this quarter.
Ball over the back now. Nicely done by Thompson. One hand pick-up was all he needed. Ball was stationary. Kicks it to the far side of the ground. Bowen takes it, trying to keep it in. Don't know if that would have been the greatest of moves. And just behind play, Timmy Wetherall. Feisty little man. And Stokes going at it. And you just see this is the start of it. Stokes appearing to throw out the arm first. Ball at half forward still for the Eagles. Now out of the wing for the double blues. Trevi off the ground. It's into the middle now, the wet middle. Nelson, these conditions suit him. And Chambers comes forward, drops the ball. It's coming through full-chested. Beveridge just shuffled it forward. Floriani read it best, taken to ground. Now Trevi, he's thrown out of there by Chambers. Now Nelson again, dives and will get a ball up inside 50 for the double blues. Late in the quarter, the Eagles lead by a goal. Been a good opening.
And just a really good attack. We see Ben Nelson on screen there. Great attack in the middle. Really put his body on the line, centred the footy, and we see it deep in the Sturt's attacking zone because of Ben Nelson.
Floriani got it away to Robert Fiocchi. How did he dispose of that? The umpire said advantage rule paid. It goes forward for a goal, and it's through. Cooper, the man who's kicked the goal for the double blues with a free kick, was going to be paid to Michael Code. And he booted a right footer straight through the high diddle-diddle. Well done by Cooper.
And that's just straightforward pressure by Michael Code, not an aspect of the game he's renowned for. He was able to glay that tackle, and Cooper, just an awareness, just to get it around his body very quickly. Sturt get a very good goal late in time on.
Should take Matthew Cooper back. He spent 5 years in the Hills League, and that late goal has levelled the scores at quarter time. An intriguing contest here at the Unley Oval. It's Sturt 3-2-20, the Eagles 3-2-20.
It certainly has been an intriguing start to the game. We've seen really Sheedy and Justin Siglella go head-to-head in the midfield, and both having a huge impact on the game. And Sturt have persisted with this handball style. Unfortunately, under pressure, they revert back to that style. And for the Eagles, they've gone into the breeze here early. They wouldn't be dissatisfied here at quarter time. They've worked hard into it. You can see there, as we get a look at the goal kickers, Wicks was instrumental in getting the double blues back into the game with 2 great goals, and Cooper with that goal we just saw before quarter time. And for the Eagles, Knights has been very good in the midfield. King presenting himself, and Sikolo has been the star so far.
3-2-20 apiece. We look through those stats, and still handballs are fairly even, and it's quite obvious that Sturt has taken a different approach, remembering they're the most proficient handball, maybe not proficient, but the biggest handballers in the competition.
Yeah, they certainly are. Their run from behind in defence is also very important. Just get the feeling that they have adapted their game. They're giving a little quick handball and then getting the ball on with a kick, and that's exactly what Bretton Phillips would ask for.
Last weekend, intriguing contest also between South Adelaide and Port Adelaide. South Adelaide sitting second on the ladder and Port Adelaide fifth. And as we said, it was on Sunday, and South Adelaide pretty much led all day, and Port Adelaide ran them down. A fascinating contest, and I wondered about that free kick for holding the ball. It was obviously touched off the boot as it went forward, but the South Adelaide player wasn't given much opportunity.
Once again, South Adelaide had an opportunity to really put the game away. It was a mirror image of the game we saw on telly here from Elizabeth, where Sturt controlled the contest, similarly what Southland has controlled the contest here. Centrals were able to come back, and they just gave Port Adelaide a stiff. There certainly was a big breeze down there at Alberton, and one of those will-o'-the-wisp there in just able to sneak forward again, and they played with some passion. It could well just turn around the Magpies season.
Yes, and that's the thing. That's Jared Polton kicking an acute angled goal there, and coming up we're going to see a free kick or otherwise to Luke Slattery. This is at the 26.5-minute mark of the final quarter, and from the pocket, from the angle, Slattery, the hero for the Magpies, about 30 seconds or so after the bounce, and it was all over. The Magpies home by 5 points. Port Adelaide 11-14, 80, and South Adelaide 10-15, 75. And throughout that match, it seemed like the Panthers would not be beaten until the Magpies just got in front and ran them down.
It really was the Port Adelaide of old. They were able to tough it out. They gained momentum as the game continued. South Adelaide just didn't put them away. And in the SANFL competition, it's very tight. If you give a side a sniff, they're going to come back and bite you.
It is very tight. There's no doubt about that. This game this afternoon, very tight again. We expect that in these conditions.
Oh, we certainly do. I mean, it's going to be tough in tight. It's going to be the team that toughs it out the most. We saw last week Sturt drop away when it got really tough out of Elizabeth. That would be a concern for Brenton Phillips. But look, I just get the feeling that they've come to play today. The Eagles are really in. It's going to be a really tight game all day.
Well, let's have a listen to Brenton Phillips.
The hands stay close to the body, go into the contest with their body behind it, okay? When you cop it, you'll cop it on the shoulders. That's, if you put your hands in and reach, it'll hurt, okay? Put your body on top of the contest, stay low, get underneath the contest. They'll come down on top of you. The person who wants to stay low will get the contest all the time, okay? One thing is you've got to be aware of. Another reason we got ball forward quickly is because Nelson's picked it up out of the centre square here and got it with one step, kick forward, okay? One step, kick forward, enabled us to get ball into our deep ball into our forward line. Smithy, a couple of times, you've got a ball on that, you've taken a nice catch on the half-back flank there. You had a lot of room to wheel around on the inside. I'd like to see you probably wheel around on the inside and hit long to advantage side, okay? Let it go, hit it long to advantage side, especially when we're going with it, okay? Hit long to advantage side. Today is about a game of inches. It's about how much space you can get forward. I thought a couple of times our second jumpers, Wixie, come across the top. A couple of our second jumpers worked okay. It doesn't mean you have to actually get hand on ball all the time. You can actually start, let's load up on this side of the contest, start and run through the contest. Even if you don't get hand on the ball, let's force the ball this way. At least we get momentum, don't we? We get momentum and the ball going forward ourselves. They got to stop. They got to be on the back foot. And we stay close.
And while all this has been going on, Sodas, you've been over at the Eagles huddle.
I have, and it's great, solid footballing close at the moment in these conditions, isn't it? Ron Fuller's reasonably pleased with his side. The only thing he was critical about was players trying to do things that perhaps aren't suitable for these conditions. Just bringing the game back into their limitations and just trying to edge the ball forward, which was what Brenton Phillips mentioned as well. Josh King came off the ground for the Eagles late in that term. He is suffering from a migraine, so he's had a couple of Panadol, and the Eagles are hopeful he will return to the fold.
Thanks for that, Sodas. We go to our tipping for the week, and Joan Rankin of Adelaide, congratulations, the winner for round 11, abc.net.au/SA footy. We have a weekly winner, so get on the net. David Appleby of Ballarat in Victoria is showing up the South Australians and his ability to tip in the SANFL competition. So he leads the way after 11 rounds. And interesting, Sticks Phillips there talking about a game of inches. Sounds like Any Given Sunday, that Al Pacino film where he talked about the game of American football was about a game of inches.
It certainly is today. Look, it's not a game for nice, pretty footy and not a day for that type of play. So you just got to get the ball forward. He spoke very instructionally in that, look, one handball, get the kick going forward off one step. Don't try to run with the footy, get it going our way.
Let's see if they carry it out. Here's the second term with Michael Maney.
Scores level as they were at the start of this match. Feast got it down. Stokes couldn't shark it. Sikalilla probably copped one high. All done by Lindsay. Powell got it to Stokes. They're inside 50. A brand new footy at the start of this second term. Squire just got it away to Beveridge. Watts rode him into the ground. No free kick. And the umpire said, give it to me.
And that brand new football becomes important too, Michael, because the ball is light. You're able to kick the ball forward, so early goals are important. As the game goes on, ball gets heavier, harder to kick goals.
Begley under that lot. Vinnie Rugolo across the top. Very cool conditions. The rain's just gone away for the moment. There's James Begley, number 52. Feast. His hands on the football a couple of times. Here comes Trevey just paddling the way in front. Nelson, good, solid hip and shoulder. As Whiteman takes it to the line. Andrew Whiteman with a crew cut this afternoon. Now it's going to be a bit cool. Andrew Rogers.
Have you ever seen a player wear a beanie in the SANFL? Maybe it's a day for it.
Could be. Lindsay got that one down. Drove his own ball. Taken by Stokes, who'll hook it back to a dangerous area. Passador taken out of the contest. Beveridge got it to Whiteman. Loriani. Colreevy. An important kick on it. In goes Bowen. Didn't stretch too well. Pedler. Just holding onto the tackle was Colreevy. Inkster's short kick marked by Knights, who's got pace. The handball to Powell, who measures to Passador. And that football, which is new and not quite as heavy as the first quarter, and Mark Passador able to hold on.
And Chris Knights has been important just with his ability to cover the ground. just prior to that, we saw Luke Powell just hold his kick back. He was ready to blast away, kick it to the top of the square. He just spotted Mark Passador on the lead, just pulled his kick a little bit, gave a little bit of air. Mark Passador gets a shot at goal.
18 goals, 13 for Mark Passador. He has just got them covered, has he? Feast plays, he's tapped it on the line, but it's a goal. 19 goals, 13 now to Mark Passador, and the Eagles hit the front. They get the first goal of the second term.
Yes, and we'll get a good indication of that breeze here early in the second quarter. You can see that there's that kick by Luke Powell. Didn't just blast away. But sometimes I've called for it to kick to the top of the square. Just had some real footy smarts there, just to give it some air. Mark Passador comes out, takes a good mark, just covers the distance. The Eagles get the all-important first goal of the second quarter.
And lead by that margin. 6 points, says. I think he gets a handball and a kick, Lindsay, for that. Just scrambled the ball forward. Rugalo with the handball back to Lindsay, and Knights slides in, takes the mark. I would suggest on his distance, he's aware of that, so from 50 metres he goes back, and it carries a long way further perhaps than what he expected, and hooks it out of bounds on the full. Chaplin to take the free kick for Sturt.
Chris Knights, 5 marks, 10 possessions already.
Just a bit of inexperience there. Really should have got an experienced Eagles player around him to tell him to take his time, go back and nail the goal. But also, Adam Thompson needs to learn a lesson there. He got caught behind, just be in front and stoppages around the ground.
Chaplin with the kick. Watts came across very late. In the end, he pulled out. He wasn't going to get there. Inkster, kick smothered. Ball scrambled towards Inkster again. Powell with the hand pass out. Whiteman with the high kick to the wing. Bowen struggling. No player gets a hand on it. Now Bowen can't release the ball. Pedler with it. Still it's play on. Still, umpire finally will call a hold. And it did very much look like a rolling ball that you see in rugby union. They had the ball off the ground and they were slightly moving it, and the umpire was prepared to wait. Weatherald on the ground. Powell stood up. Pedler was good. Off the ground went Floriani. Had a soccer background as a youth. Oh, nice pick up by Chaplin. Hand pass found Nelson, or rather Thompson. He found Smith. Smith goes long and high, and that's what Brendan Phillips asked him to do at quarter time. Just go off that half-back line long. Feast to half-forward. Ball over the back. Holly trapped. Play on. Nice pick up round the corner. What's it like for accuracy? It'll go out of bounds in the pocket.
With Josh King off the ground for the Eagles, Brendan Phillips just juggling around his defence. Chaplin now has gone on to Passador, and Begley now has Rugolo. Begley actually started on Passador.
That breeze kicked up a bit, Mark.
Yeah, it certainly has. Just in the last couple of minutes, Michael, it will certainly favour the right of screen now a lot more than it did earlier.
Ball slips away to Sikalala, who got around Nelson all right, and then kicked it very high. Inkster couldn't take the mark. Squire just boxed it out the back to Cooper. Got a free kick, Cooper. Advantage rule played. Goes to Sheedy. Sheedy's kick forward. Just getting a hand on it was Treby. Floriani taken to ground. Codes in there for the double blues. And the ball's not coming out of there. There's Lee Treby at the bottom of the pack there. Just getting up. Is it Bowen? Jacob Bowen is a good tackle. Not a spear tackle, but a good solid tackle. Go in hard. Wigley was the man. Yes, it is Tom Wigley with that shoulder strapped. Another ball up. We'll see plenty of that this afternoon.
Just smart play by Tom Wigley. Didn't release the ball. The ball didn't spill out. Enabled the double blues to get hold of perhaps a scoring opportunity. Just held it in tight.
Weatherall at the bottom of that pack, and the umpire, which way will he see it?
You've got your hand on the ball.
He says you've got your hand on the ball.
Put your hand on the ball.
I wonder about that. It happens a lot, doesn't it? The umpires tend to give free kicks.
Players are getting smarter.
Just trying to keep that ball tucked in under there and then hailing the cab. Lindsay with a bit of strength. Robert Fiacci got it to Peter Fiacci. The left footer looking for Watts on a full burst. Good mark. Got around okay. Good shepherd by Powell. He pumps it inside 50. Inkster got under the football. Reading it nicely was Chaplin. Begley. Free kick will go for too high to Andrew Beveridge. Tim Inkster needs to give back a bit of ground to get 25. And there it is, right around the ear. Beveridge in short, turnover. And it's marked by Simmons. Dale Simmons in good form for the Eagles. Amazing 14 goals too this year, Simmons. So he's been accurate. Kicks inside 50, inks to the flyer. Taken by Passador on the left. And he boots his second for the game, and he's second in this quarter. That's good roving, good crumbing by one of your spearheads who relies a lot on his marking.
He certainly does rely a lot on his marking, but look, this is another aspect of his game. You can see there, he's just able to break loose from Chaplin, turn the ball around the corner, and that's what makes him so dangerous, is that he can take a mark on a lead and kick a goal, as we've seen early in this quarter. But there's a crumbing goal for Mark Passador. The Eagles just sneak away with a nice 2-goal break. 7-minute mark of the second quarter. Maybe time for Brett Phillips to start thinking about maybe a loose man in defence.
Andrew Rogers, the coach in waiting. Powell out of the middle. Beveridge with the punch. Watts, lovely pick up. Good below his knees. Ran into a brick wall, got it to Stokes. Hand pass quickly to Knights on the left foot. And a great mark. Passador can kick 3 in a row. Just pushed off his man. Chaplin with AFL experience. That's it on a nice chest mark diving forward by Mark Passador.
The problem for Brett Phillips is actually out of the middle. The Eagles are starting to win the ball out of the middle. Lindsay's getting on top in there. They're winning the ball too easily out of the middle, and eventually weigh to numbers. Mark Passador is going to get a number of opportunities, and he's a very dangerous player.
He's had 3 in this quarter. And there's his 3rd goal. Eagles now clear by 18 points.
And that was a mismatch by taking Josh King off, getting Mark Passador away from James Beagley. It has worked a treat for Ron Fuller. You see the Eagles just shuffled it around, kept it alive, and eventually just on the right side he was able to protect that side. Kick just favoured him. Quite simple mark from playing in front. Goes back and nails the goal, and the Eagles have skipped away at 3 goals. The weather conditions are holding at the moment. If it gets much worse, the Double Blues are in trouble.
Goals at the 2, 7 and 8 minute mark by Passador as Cole Reevy for the Double Blues, who really do need the next one, otherwise it gets ugly. Well done by Code. Got it to Cooper, who kicked a goal on his right boot in the first term. Bowen just had to bend and couldn't quite get down. Well done by Pedlar, who boots it to half back. Simmons is there. Beveridge takes it across the line. He'd be a bit tough, Mr. Umpire, if you pinged him for that. Boundary throw in. Beveridge has been pretty good this afternoon for the Double Blues. Used to play for the Eagles.
Yeah, he did, and played a different role for the Eagles on ball. Down at Sturt, half back, tough, hard at it, provides plenty of run off the half back. In good touch.
Here's Cole Reevy, who found some space. The target was Cove, but thumped away by Mackenzie. Sheedy, that ball really holding up into the breeze. Standing under it is Code, who booted 4 last week. Slips as he kicks. Conditions are a bit tough. Powell got it to Knights, who just pumped it forward in his non-preferred. Watts, 1 against 3. The umpire, how will he see it? You held it in. Had it held in. Had no opportunity to get rid of it. And about a ball up.
Yeah, look, it's a good tackle, but once again, you've got to have that opportunity. Did a good job there, Fergus. Watts to hold that in.
Watts taken heavily again. That time released the ball. It came out Sturt. They flick it through their hands. Squire did absolutely fantastic to stand up in the tackle, and then he lost it, trying to get away. Cicolella inside 50. Passador, strong grab. Took the ball to ground. Released it out the back. Now Cicolella, he's got a fit of the fumbles. Cooper climbs all over him. Still play on. And the umpire will eventually come in and ask for it. We'll have a look at Damien Squire, who did everything right until now. Just lost the grip on the ball.
Don't push it in the face.
Well,
push it in the face.
Squire will take the free kick. You heard the umpire there saying that there was a push in the face. Squire squares it to Thompson, who can go to Chaplin. Chaplin can go down the line to Smith,
you're on there, Pat.
or perhaps Sheedy. He goes to the ladder, over the top, Sheedy in a bit of space. Rugolo coming across, won't get there. Sheedy goes short. That's awkward. On an afternoon like this one, to go short in that situation, the Eagles in turn show how to do it. Long they go into their forward line. Rugolo around on the right foot, chips it inside 50, and Knights just playing in front of Thompson again.
Yes, I don't think Chris Knight was actually the recipient. It was that Passador that actually led out, just skipped into the space. If I was Ron Fuller, I'd really like to see him push Tim Inks to the full forward, as we see a change come on, but I'd like to see Tim Inks to the full forward and really make Damien Squire accountable. push all your other players up the ground, pushing one out. I reckon Damien Squire would very much have headaches at fullback.
David Westbrook coming on for his first run for the day, replacing Peter Fiarchi.
Knights carried the distance before from a quick play on. This time takes his time and kicks the goal.
Yeah, really a difference in game plan there. We saw Jade Sheedy miss a kick of a player of his ilk. Should have really hit this kick. And then we just saw it go, we can get it going forward. And here's Vinny Regalo on the rebound. Just gets it inside, spots Mark Passador. But Chris Knight's just sipping into space in between the two. Goes back and importantly nails the goal. They've kicked goals, the Eagles. They haven't kicked points. So scoreboard pressure is really starting to tell on the double blues.
Chris Knight's 11 kicks, 3 handballs. He and Passador have taken 5 marks inside 50 between them. Sturt haven't had any.
Knights kicked the first goal of the game at the 2-minute mark. He's got a couple now. Rugalo's got Beveridge caught. And the umpire will come in and ball it up. Seen a fair bit of that today. One of those days, the conditions, the ordinary. This game hasn't been too bad for the wet conditions and slippery. 4 goals in this quarter to the Eagles. Double Blues haven't scored. Ball just booted forward. Passador worked his opponent under it. He could go off the ground here and does, and just couldn't quite get the old leg heave back and get a good crack at it. Mark Passador just dribbled it through for a behind. 25 points the difference, 13 and a half gone.
I think it's time for James Begley to go back. Passador a little bit too footy smart and a little bit too quick for Chaplin.
Begley with the kick into Feast, who couldn't take it, and Squire was trapped, had the arm pinned straight away, and Inkster, the instigator of something there off the ball. A little bit high on Feast, and Feast will take the kick. Inkster would have had to reach up a long way to get the Feast. Smith, 2 grabs, play on. Watts, he brought it in under him. Umpire says that's okay. Got a ball up. Umpire Craig Godrich. And that's Fergus Watts. Very close, you think, to an AFL game. And Watts will come to the ball now. Slips out a hand pass. Eagles running in numbers. Westbrook, Stokes, Sikalella. Sikalella looks inboard and goes beautifully inboard too. And Simmons will turn around and have a look at goal. And with that breeze behind him, if he starts it out to the left, you'd think he might kick a goal here.
Yes, you would expect. I expect him to kick a goal here, but I wouldn't mind betting he'll miss to the right-hand side.
Dale Simmons. They kicked 4 goals, 1 for the quarter without reply from Sturt, the Eagles. And Andrew Rogers, you are a coach in waiting.
Just knowing Dale Simon's kicking the way he kicks, he actually tries to slice the ball a little bit, lays it across his boot a little bit. With the breeze going from left to right, it was always going to carry a little bit that way. So I just felt as though just had to start it out to the left-hand side, let the breeze work it back.
Tim Inkster's just come off the ground for a spell. Peter Fiarchi onto the half-forward line, being picked up by 2-time Magarey medalist Damien Squire.
You might wanted him to cool down a bit, Sodas. He was getting a bit fired up there for a while.
He was, wasn't he? Maybe just a couple of minutes to just get his head right again, because if he goes off the rails with Squire there, he could be in some trouble.
Whiteman kicks to a pack situation. Lindsay, Floriani roved it, in goes Wigley. Another ball up. How much longer can you wait, Andrew, before you put in for a job?
How much longer can I wait? I know it's pretty cold up here in the commentary box.
Go to the comfort of the warm coach's box. Begley's kick chopped off by Floriani. He wants to go long, Floriani, and coming in from the side was Code, I think it was. And a 25-metre penalty, and Ben Eckerman getting his first run down there, Sodas.
He is, and he's going to come to centre-half forward, replacing Jake Bowen, so it'll be a mismatch against Joe Pedler.
And that's good coaching. I like that coaching. I mean, they're not getting beating in the air at the moment, the Double Blues. They're getting beating at ground level. Bring Ben Eckerman on. Now Ron Fuller has to respond, because Joe Pedler will not be able to go with Ben Eckerman.
And the Rucks have a bit of a change down there with O'Hara coming back on. This is Floriani. Kicks it long. Big fist away. Front and square, Simmons. Very, very high kick. It could be away to the right again. It is. 27 points the difference in favour of the Eagles. They've done all the scoring in this second term.
They certainly have. They're starting to dominate the inside 50s at 26-19, and especially in this quarter. Sturt led 13-11 at quarter time. If my arithmetic's right, that's 15-6 in this quarter.
Hurry it up, safe bet.
Beveridge taking his time. Umpire hurries him along. He comes to the Jack Odie grandstand side, and Fergus Watts, nice mark. Cooper just edged out. Watts, now Beveridge, he'll take the mark. It's kick to kick. Beveridge tries to sweep a hand past to Smith. It put him under pressure. He overran it. Now Rugolo off in the direction of Powell. Powell paddles it forward. O'Hara slips a hand past. Treby on his left. You think he'd go close. He goes better than that. He kicks the goal.
Matthew Smith.
Yeah, mistakes get magnified in today's conditions. And just that missed handball as it went across. Matthew Smith just panicked a little bit under pressure. Eventually the Eagles were able to turn it loose. They kept it alive. Treby just around the corner. Dead-eye Dick on his left foot. Really made the Sturt pay for their blunder down the back end.
With a spear match winning break for the Eagles. You don't want to call it too early, but in these conditions, a 33-point lead is going to be hard to pull back for the Double Blues. Out of the centre, plenty of desperation from Oliver on the ground. In goes Treby, the man who kicked the last goal. 5 goals to zip in this term in favour of the Eagles, and now showing that they are certainly top of the wazza this year. O'Hara buffeted out of the contest. Get another ball up. Cooper tried to con the umpire for a too high free kick.
Michael, Brenton Phillips just doing a few more changes. Ben Nelson's come off from the wing. He's gone to centre half forward on Pedler. Eckerman on the wing on Treby, who has been dangerous so far.
So they got that back into some sort of equilibrium.
Have it again.
The umpire comes in and says, give it to me. David Westbrook, who's just been struggling this year with an injury. Might appreciate the softer ground. Stokes to Floriani, half-distance kick. Set a task for everyone. Peter Fiacci up to it. Treby, some good dodging. Kicks it inside 50. Back goes Beveridge, can't take the mark. Front square was Simmons, but Beveridge has been quite outstanding back there, both overhead and below his knees. And thank goodness, I suppose, for Andrew Beveridge. He's really been holding that defence up.
Yeah, he certainly has. As you said, been very good overhead. Put his body on the line, read the ball very well as it's come forward. Been very valuable for the Double Blues so far.
Hear the call, Vinny, and Vinny's taken to ground. Bit of an impact player, Vinny Rugolo. Just always seems to be lively across that half-forward line.
Cicolello stood in the tackle, got the kick forward. Watts going back. Smith with his arms all over him. Umpire called play on. Chaplin gets an opportunity to make a tackle on Passador. Makes the most of it. Doesn't quite get one back for the 3 goals that Passador's kicked. Breeze is, as you just saw, quite strong. And it's getting stronger. That's probably the heaviest part of the ground down there in the forward pocket. The Eagles' end of the ground. They've owned this quarter, the Eagles. They're out to a 33-point lead. Smith over the top, down to Thompson, was clever with the hand pass, Sheedy, and then Begley. Begley clears to Colreevy, won't make it, and he's given away the free kick. Little doubt about that. Wigley was just standing in the right place at the right time, and that Breeze we mentioned just holding the ball up. Wigley inside 50. Thompson with the intercept, or rather Eckerman. Good stretch by the young man. Goes wide to Squire. Space for him to move in. Can go to Chambers. Opts to go longer. And in the end, bad choice into the breeze. Hall, the veteran, reading it best. Off to Rob Fiacci. Far side of the ground. Floriani lurking. Floriani in turn uses the run of Stokes. Inboard, he can go to Knights. He'll want his left leg again, so it goes wide. So they're zigzagging down the ground. A fumble. Rugolo gets it back to Wigley. Now they're in trouble, the Eagles, so they go out the back to Stokes again, and he just takes the out method, which is long and high, down to centre half forward, or in that direction at least. Now Cicolella just taken down. Umpire called play on. It was more of a bump than a tackle, and still it's played on. And there'll be a lot of this afternoon. Hard, tough football. The Eagles are just winning the battles at the moment, and again, they come away with it. Beveridge going back, couldn't get there. Sturt, though, will clear it through Smith. His handball to Beveridge, and Beveridge will clear finally for the Double Blues.
To Chaplin, springboard up, half-back. Eckerman couldn't take the mark. Well done by Westbrook. Pumps it inside 50. Here's Passador. Can't take the mark. Well done, Smith. Got it away to Squires, about to get nabbed. Classy enough to get the kick away. Oh, that's a brave effort by Westbrook, running with the flight of the ball. Colreevy just shuffled it forward somehow to Wetherill, who got it to Cooper. Cooper kicks it long. Hall and Chambers. Hall just got a jinky little kick away for Robert Piacci. Outstanding play by Hall. Here's Treby to Westbrook. Handball inboard to the punishing right foot of Sikalala, who just sat up and looked and misdirected the kick. Marked by Beveridge. Had nothing to kick to. Sikalala had to kick it to that spot. Beveridge's kick. Well done by Powell to knock it away from Thompson. Robert Piacci. That back line is impenetrable at the moment. I don't know whether I spat that out properly. Taken by Simmons. Dives on the ball. And which way will the umpire see it? He'll say, give it to me. The back line, and a proven mud runner in Floriani also has been outstanding back there for the Eagles. There's Timmingston.
And just Stephen Hall shows the experience here. Look, the ball's always going to drop quickly as it goes into the breeze. You must play in front. He really has mastered Grant Chambers today.
Just another update, Michael, on an on-ground move. Ron Fuller bringing McKenzie up to half-back onto Nelson. Pedler's gone back to full-back on Michael Code.
Beyond 23 minutes in the second turn, 33 points the margin in favour of the Eagles. Difficult conditions if you've just joined us. The weather closing in every moment. Here's Powell out of the pack. Passador pushes and grabs. And umpire said that was all fair and legal, and Mark Passador is very good at that. And he's kicked 3 goals in this quarter alone. Another look.
Just a centre clearance once again, and just able to think of, maybe he could have got one for hanging onto the jumper as well, but that's just good strength, a little bit too experienced here. Just got to feel as though James Begley is probably the better matchup.
Passador labours the kick away to the right.
Just a little bit lazy there for Mark Passador. Really needed to finish a lot. Time on goals or red time goals really should be finished.
Tim Inkster thought he was going to get another run. Simmons was coming off.
Yeah, the problem there, Michael, is that the interchange steward hadn't given the change to the official, so they're just waiting for that change to go through. Inkster will come on for Dale Simmons.
Now we get it right. Good work, Mark. Taken down. Begley, the handball away. But Sheedy is wrapped up in the tackle. Outstanding quarter by the Eagles. They've made it 5 goals to 0. It is cold at Unley. This lady just in the foreground there. Like an Eskimo. Taken by Powell. Got it to Sikalala. 2-on-1 here. Passador in amongst that. Thumped away by Chaplin for a rush behind to the Eagles. The Eagles doing all the attacking. 36 inside 50s. There's that lady I spoke about. She is freezing cold.
Sorry, Michael, 23-4, the inside 50s this quarter.
Sturt yet to trouble the scorer. Stuck on 3-2-20 as they were at quarter time when scores were level at 3-2-20 apiece.
It's just a domination of the midfield, really. It's not so much the defenders, it's more a domination in the midfield.
35 points the margin at half-time. Jake Sheedy with the final stat of the first half. And at half-time, the Eagles, 8-7-55, have taken control. Sturt, 3-2-20, a margin of 35 points. Andrew Rogers, take us through